Hi, everyone.
Hello?
Yeah, we're back. And what we were thinking to talk about today is a topic that has really made a big difference in our lives in terms of understanding how the mind works, how life works. And we've titled it Circumstances Are Neutral. And of course, that doesn't necessarily mean a lot, but what we're referring to is the fact that what occurs in our lives don't necessarily create the experience that we have around them.
True.
So, I've shared before that experience of, if I get cut off in traffic, it's like I have a reaction and I think it's because of that driver and what he just did and the whole story that goes on with that. Or maybe you have some experience too that you thought to share, sweetie.
Well, yeah, if somebody calls in the middle of the night and Bill starts talking to them, then I freak out. I think he's so trustworthy and you don't know who this person is, blah, blah. And then it all turns out perfectly and it's silly. It's just my interpretation, my fear that arises.
Yeah, it's so interesting, isn't it? It's like when the event is occurring, it's so real to us that this is what it means and this is how I need to respond to, well, protect myself or get what I'm looking for or whatever it is. But if we look at it, if we just step back and look at it, it's actually quite neutral. It's what's going on in my mind. It's my thinking.
It's my interpretation that makes it have the meaning I give it.
Right. Which is, of course, the fuel that fuels every debate. Whether it's a political debate or environmental debate, it's like there's always two sides to the story. And what is it that produces the two sides but the thinking of the individuals on the sides? Because, even something as heated as climate change, anyway, we've all been around that debate for quite a while. But in order for two people to respond so completely differently to the same circumstance, leads me to believe that the circumstance is neutral. Not meaning that it doesn't have consequences. Like if climate change is real, then it means polar ice caps will melt. It's not that they won't have consequences, but my response to it, the reality and state of mind that I live in when I'm in a debate around climate change, has everything to do with my interpretation of that topic, in the same way that my response to being cut off in traffic has everything to do, everything to do with my thinking about what just occurred.
Well, how does that relate to my health?
Okay, so the way that I see this has made a big difference in my own life is that as I understand that this is actually more the nature of life and the nature of how my mind works, I find that I'm a lot more resilient. That is, I bounce back so much more quickly than I used to. I can remember years ago, I guess probably decades, I would get cut off in traffic and I would be kind of ranting and raving in the car. It could go on for, 20 minutes. And that guy's long gone, but it just would stir me up and I would just keep going around and around.
So that produces a lot of cortisol and stress.
Yeah, a lot of stress. And now, when that happens, lots of times I don't even react anymore. Instead, my interpretation is I see that they're probably really stressed out, that they would do something as unsafe as what they just did. And so I actually feel more compassion for them than anger. Same circumstance, cut off in traffic, dangerous situation, and yet it's very different. So even if I react now, I find I bounce back so much more quickly. So either old things that used to stress me out don't stress me out anymore, so I never go into that fight or flight, high cortisol condition, or I bounce back so much more quickly.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah.
That keeps you healthier.
Right, because they've shown that when cortisol levels are up, we don't digest well, so we don't get them, even if we're eating high nutrient dense foods, we don't get the value of them. our immune system is suppressed, so we can just be exposed to some little thing and we get a cold or the flu
True.
because our immune system isn't performing optimally. We tend to gain weight more with high cortisol levels.
True.
So there's a real value we're seeing to understanding the relationship between mind and body and the relationship between our minds, the nature of our minds, and the reality that we create from the circumstances that occur in our lives.
Very good. What I want to talk about is high nutrient dense food. And what I'm so excited about is how many people you're finding on YouTube, doctor after doctor after doctor, and athletes, famous people coming on board to share how eating a high nutrient dense diet has really changed and eliminated conditions and high blood pressure, cholesterol, all kinds of different things, asthma, etc. And how also they're able to let go of medications that they were using to get by, to suppress symptoms. And I just think it's so wonderful that it's finally gaining traction, that people, when they see a Netflix video like The Game Changers, completely change the way they eat, from a high meat diet to plant-based. So, we're all about the power of the body to restore health and to heal itself if we give it what it needs. And what it needs and thrives on is high nutrient plant-based foods. So if you haven't tried it for at least 3 days, click on Contact Me. Well, where is our high nutrient dense food list?
Resources.
Under Resources, you can find the high nutrient dense list and give it a go for 3 days. Don't believe us? Try it yourself. We just keep seeing person after person have so much awareness of how their body's thriving when they eat that way and how they're in difficulty when they don't. So prove it to yourself. You see what works for you.
Yeah, and that's what we're always about too, is don't believe us. Really see if it's true in your own life.
Yeah.
Because it's certainly been the experience that we've had with high nutrient dense foods. And like Connie says, we still work with a lot of people, and it's almost guaranteed.
It's true.
And also think about this mental aspect as well. Keep your body really optimally tuned by really understanding the nature of the mind and how life works, so that we're interacting with life in a much more positive and effective way.
Yeah. Now the recipe. We've made roasted chickpeas before. They're so great as a snack or on a salad or on whole grains. Or with veggies. They're wonderful. And one of our clients sent us a version using za'atar, a spice mixture that's Middle Eastern. So today we're sharing that, and we made it, and we love it.
Yeah,
it's great.
I just love having those. We've got a little bowl on the counter, and you can just have a little snack when you want. Or if we make a salad at night, then we just take some of those, sprinkle them on top. Creates a lot of variety, extra taste, extra nutrient, and variety. We love to eat.
We love good food.
We love good food.
Really nourishes the body.
So this is just another way we're shaking it up.
Yeah. So if you have any comments or questions, you know how to find us in the comment section or contact me above. Thanks for joining us. Great to share with you. Bye.
Bye for now.